Stampers, I'm Meg from Loven Stamps, and I have another project to share with you. This one features the Floral Phrases stamp set and the detailed Floral Thinlits with one more different way to use these dies. So let's get started. I'll answer some questions for you and we'll get stamping. Let me pull out the stuff from our Stamps the Mail Club kit, and I'm going to show you the pieces of this one first. So then I'll show you how to do the die cut part. So this one's going to use the die in one more different way. I have a half sheet of cardstock. I have this strip of Delightful Dijon cardstock, and I'm going to cut a little banner end at each end for that. I'm going to grab the washi tape. Washi tape comes with your Stamps the Mail Club 2 this month, which is kind of fun, and it is a beautiful complement to the rest of the Floral Boutique suite. So you could even put the washi tape on first and then cut your ends, whatever makes you happy. So I am trimming this to match. And then there is, hard to see in the sample pictures, but there's a piece of gold thread in here that is going to be wrapped around your end. So I'm going to go ahead and just pinch it on the back with my finger and then just wrap it around, because the gold thread's beautiful, same with the silver and the new copper, but they look best sort of massed together, so with lots of it, not just one little strand. And then the trick for trapping this is to go ahead and just take a Stampin' Dimensional and put it right on top of those ends to hold them in place, and there we have our banner. The ovals for this are cut, pre-cut for you for Stamps the Mail Club from the Layering Ovals Framelit die set. You can see those are the two that I used for this, preparing this project. But they are a great variety of sizes and give you a chance to highlight whatever size pieces you're doing. So we have our greeting there. I'll snail that onto the matching scallop die cut piece. It just is a perfect layering accent. I'm a really big fan of all the shapes, the layering shapes, and then this is going to go on here. So this would layer here for Stamps the Mail Club. You'd go ahead and stick this down, add this to it, and you'd be all set. But let me show you how to cut this interesting piece in case you'd like to cut more of these at home. Alright, so for the detailed Floral Thinlits dies, we are finally going to use this cutting edge. So the cutting edge actually is used to cut against either of the large background plates. So we're going to use this large background plate and the small one, and I'll show you another sample at the end of a different way to cut a panel using this. But anytime you want this die here, oh, I got a leftover piece in there. All gone. Anytime you want to use this die and have a cut edge, you have to use the cutting edge with it, because this one isn't going to cut all in itself. So I have my sandwich set up. I'll put a link in the video description for the sandwich on this one, but I'm using the new Big Shot pad, which I adore, and the Precision base plate, which I also am loving. And I'm going to go ahead and line this up just here so the edges are all around. And this piece of cardstock is 4 inches here by 3.5 inches here, and that gives me enough space to work with it pretty easily. So since I'm not using the magnetic plate, I'm much happier with the new Big Shot platform for using with this die set. I'm going to use the Post-it note trick. So the magnetic plate tends to make this die spin, and that just isn't helpful. So I'm going to go ahead and use one hand to kind of hold everything, and then with the other hand I'm just going to grab a big piece of Post-it note and layer it across there so it goes on one die, 2 dies, and the background cardstock. And that will hold everything where I want it, so that I can grab my cutting plate and go ahead and push through. And like I said, I explained this sandwich in one of my other detailed Floral Thinlits videos, so you can check that out if you're not quite sure why I'm doing what I'm doing with the layers. But I'm going to run it through and then back, and that's enough to get excellent cutting. You like how my Big Shot's shaking on the table? It's like on a pinwheel. So then we have our pieces cut here, and I'll pull my Post-it note off gently. I'm going to take away that die cut edge, see that? So that piece got cut away. And then what we're left with goes here on my die cut brush tool foam, and brush that through a few times, flick it a few for good measure, and then when you open it, you have that background piece. So you can flick it a few more times. You may need to see all the pieces flying. What this die does really well is make confetti in whatever color you need. Anyway, you use your pokey tool, your paper piercing tool, to poke the pieces out. Go ahead and layer your top on there, and there you have a really nice, elegant card. And all the pieces for this come in your Stamps Mail Club kit, so make sure you get that ordered if you haven't yet. These kits for July are going really quickly. So here is one more way to use this. So basically on this side I use the large background die and cut the edge, and then the edge also matches the small, so I cut the small background die here so that when you open the card you have the two edges and then your main card inside there. So this is kind of a neat design too, based on one that we saw on the Stampin' Up! Trip to the Mediterranean. So thanks so much for stamping through by mail. I hope you have gotten some good tricks on different ways to use your detailed Floral Thinlits dies, and I look forward to sharing another project with you soon. Happy stamping!